Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Volume 2 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day today. We kick off our first playoff run here in this career mode at Darlington Raceway for the Southern 500. This is going to be a lengthy one. Settle in here for myself. It was a lengthy one. I cut it down the best I could for you guys, so only see the best parts of the video. But we come in here trying to make a playoff run after picking up a clutch first career win in the last episode at Daytona in the regular season finale, and what was a must-win scenario with the situation that we found ourselves in with Alex Bowman running in the top 5 in the final moments of that race. We had to win, and we did. So we got that first win, and now we come into a track like Darlington where we know we're not going to have the same speed that we had in Daytona, and it all starts with the qualifying run here as we would come through the cross line with a 30.054. So for the Southern 500, we qualify kind of where we've been averaging throughout the majority of the season, P22, but usually when we qualify around here, that's usually a good sign because we've been able to move our way forwards in these kind of scenarios. As you can see, the rest of the qualifying order, and now we're not racing 40 drivers or 39 other drivers. Now we're focused on 15 other drivers, and you see Alex Bowman one race after being eliminated from the playoffs here. He is actually on pole as Joey Gase failed pre-race inspection. Cole Custer crashed during qualifying, so he is starting at the back along with Joey Gase in that number 15 and 41 car. You can see as well as I kept the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse paint scheme on the car for maybe some good luck after getting our first win in our first attempt with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse car. So the green flag is out, the playoffs are underway. Alex Bowman leads the field of the green. A non-playoff driver kicks off the playoffs for the Cup Series field as we head down towards turn 1 in this long, grueling, 92 lap race I think it is here in Darlington. It's a lengthy one. The Southern 500, is in my opinion, honestly, kind of a fantastic way to kick off the playoffs because it's one of the most challenging races. It's going to, right off the bat, kick off this playoff and really show you who's here to bring the heat into this playoff, fight here over these 10 races. Because if you can survive Darlington, have a good night, you are, in my opinion, already one of the championship favorites here now. But it wasn't a good start for me. You saw me get my Darlington stripe right off the bat there through turns 3 and 4 as we head down into turn 1. We cleared that 34 of Michael McDowell. Already have one position though here in just one lap now, as it's all about working our way forwards here now. And as well, I've noticed some trends when it comes to Darlington Raceway. Usually I fare a lot better on the long run. So I knew the short run was not necessarily about gaining positions, although we're doing that. They're getting the elbows out. Actually got a little bit physical right there with Joey Logano. Not what I was intending on doing. It was just an overdrive of the corner, and it worked out in my favor, not his, of course, as he would actually fight back, get up my inside. But the short run, really all about surviving, make it to that long run. And when I say long run, that was about 11, 12, 13 laps. If we could get to that point right there, that usually seems to be the transition for when this car kind of kicks into gear, starts to get rolling a little bit. So until that point, though, we're basically playing defense, as we were able to pass the 96 of Ty Dillon, who had a fantastic qualifying effort, but not a lot of race pace in that car. My teammate Tyler Reddick, however, slips up my inside here on lap 7. He's trying to make the pass in a beautiful throwback. I don't have a throwback. I forgot to put the throwback on the car, actually. I did have one, I just forgot to use it, so that was a little bit awkward there. But hey, we still nonetheless have the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse paint scheme here on this car, and it looks beautiful. I mean, on this track, the kind of the shade of blue, it almost feels like a throwback kind of color here to this car now, as we get past as well that 21 and actually passing the 37 of Ryan Preece as well on at lap 9 here. So P17 kind of felt like it was my limit with the short run, and I was just hoping that the car would start to, like I said, kick in for the long run, and it would do that. Actually, we got to about lap 11 and it was starting to roll in, and Austin Dillon, rough start for him. I'm going to slice to the inside here down this back straightaway, and we're going to be able to complete the pass on the number 3 of Austin Dillon as we head down into turn 3. There it is right there, complete the pass on our RCR teammate. P16 we're up into. Getting into a bit of a flow now, as you can actually though see, lap 13 down the back straightaway, some smoke going into turn 3. It's from the back of that 24. William Byron, the caution is going to fly for the first time here from the Southern 500 here under the lights, and Byron, fortunately for him, is not going to be out of the race. He's headed to the pit lane. He's going to have to make some repairs to that Valvoline throwback number 24. Everybody, though, floods into the pit lane, puts fuel and tires in and on their cars, and now we come back for the restart here in P15. So we want to be restarting on the inside. Some tracks I prefer to be on the outside, not a lot of them, and certainly not Darlington. This is probably the most difficult track in the game to restart on the outside, because the inside inside line. They don't give you a lot of room to work with, so you're kind of wedged between the cars on the inside and then the wall right there on your outside. That is so easy to hit in Darlington. And then when you exit turn 2 here in Darlington, especially on a restart on the outside, there's a bit of a bump in the corner. Kind of, it's like a dip. It goes down and then back up, and if you hit it wrong, it will just kick your car right out, and I mean, you're going to slam into the outside wall. That's pretty much the only option. So we at least hold on for this restart there. P15 on the inside. Hope for nothing but inside restarts throughout this episode here in Darlington. But you see, a bit of an overdrive right there into turn 1. That opens the door for that 17, but we're on that short run again, so it's all about survival. We don't have the car that we need on the short run, so we're just kicking into defense mode here. Try to hold cars back, but unfortunately, the 17 of Christopher Busher and Cole Custer, they're both able to get past us, and look at the time we lost. Now, fortunately for myself, we would hold on to P17, but you see how much time we lost. But now we had gotten to the point again where the car starts kicking into gear, and you can see by the final lap of stage 1, we had started closing in on the 17 of Busher, as I saw somebody in the pit lane there smoking, but Brad Keselowski, he's taken the lead of this race and has since then taken over. I mean, he has been just checking up from everybody, and he would exit turn 4 down the front straightaway. Keselowski is going to come through to win this first and opening stage here from Darlington for the Southern 500, and it's going to be P17 for us. So unfortunately, it's not going to be any points in stage 1, and we know one of the struggle points of this number 2017 this season with Richard Childress Racing has been earning stage points. We've really struggled to earn those stage points, and that is the key to having success in the playoffs, is stage points. But we would pit for 4 tires, fill it with fuel again, get ready for another restart. Fortunately, on the inside from P17 for the start of stage 2 for the first time in the playoffs, it is time to get amped in Darlington. Chart it up. There you have the amp segment here from Darlington in the Southern 500 as William Byron right there down into turn 1, able to make a pass on us in that Valvoline machine. Up into 17th place, down into 18th place we go. I try to do a little bit of a switchback here, fight back on the inside. Not going to be enough though against that number 24 as we, wait for that kind of switchover period here. As you see, Austin Dillon as well able to slip up the inside, complete the pass there. And then here comes Kurt Busch as well. I was a bit, taken aback here in the opening moments of the second stage because we got just passed by 3 cars out of nowhere, so I wasn't expecting to fall off to that extent here, but we try to continue to fight back here now. But we're waiting to that lap 11, lap 12 area that we've been talking about all episodes so far, and we were not far off from that actually, or getting to that point here. So you can see myself trying to pass my teammate of Austin Dillon, get the elbows out a little bit here through 1 and 2, and can we make it happen now? Side by side clear on the exit of turn 2 and actually getting that momentum rolling here now. Lap 9 up the inside of Kurt Busch, trying to complete the pass on the Monster Energy Chevrolet driver here. Side drafting a little bit, not going to quite happen. Then we slip in behind him and we continue fighting. Actually got into a bit of a scrap here with Kurt Busch for a few laps. I was continuing to try and pass him and it just wouldn't work, but here we are in lap 11 out of turn 2, side by side down the back straightaway. The same lap where we expect the car to finally kick in would end up being the same lap that the car was actually finally able to complete a pass on that Monster Energy machine. So we make the pass right there on Kurt Busch. Up at a P18 we go, and we just hope it stays green. We're hoping for lengthy green flag runs in this race with the way this car handles on the long run, so we don't want to see cautions. And we're closing in here on William Byron, actually going to get into the back of William Byron. Lap 14, a bit of a bump and run kind of deal right there, but we're going to continue side by side here down this front straightaway. And if we do stay green, we are going to see some green flag pit stops here potentially in stage 2. It's really close on field. We could potentially actually make it on field to the end of this second stage, and I know if I want to get somewhere in this race, we need to do something different than all all of the cars in front of us there as I chop the nose of William Byron quite aggressively. But you can see, I mean, the pace that we pick up here late in this run, now to the inside of Christopher Buescher here, down into turn 3, an easy pass on him up into P16. But everybody was getting ready to make their green flag pit stops here, and I decided we're going to stay out as long as possible, and maybe even right to the end of stage 2. So everybody starts pitting, and we would eventually actually drift up all the way into the second position of this stage as Christopher Bell was leading the way with 2 laps to go in this stage. But then the caution comes out with 2 laps to go, coming to the final lap. That ends the stage. We get gifted second place Austin Dillon P3. Goodness me, we just drove under a car right there. What in the world was that? That was actually the 37 of Ryan Preece we just drove under. So getting ready for stage 3, and everybody behind us that pitted had to take the wave around. So everybody that was previously on the lead lap is still on the lead lap, but it gets really good for us here. We restart P3 because we were the only one on the lead lap at the time of the caution, myself and Christopher Bell and Austin Dillon. But then as well, what's even better is we have some slow cars in between myself as well as the really fast cars like Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, all those drivers. Brad Keselowski, who's the fastest car here. So that 20 car, however, of Christopher Bell is insanely fast here. So we really aren't going to have anything for him. I am able to clear my teammate of Austin Dillon, but look at the gap we're building already between ourselves and the fast cars, the drivers like Keselowski and Hamlin, because they're just stuck in traffic. So perfect case scenario for us, and we try to take advantage here and, you know, put down the best laps I can and run away from those drivers. Austin Dillon there just behind us now. Austin Dillon was fading very quick. I was a bit surprised. He would fall behind Denny Hamlin, who would be the first fast car actually to get through. So you can see Bell was already down into turn 3, and he's a half a straightaway ahead. But Denny Hamlin, he had run me down quick, and he was getting ready to cruise past me on the inside here on the exit of turn 4. But by the time that he had run me down, and by the time he had passed me, we were already closing in on that point where the car starts to kick in on that long run. So this is perfect case scenario for us. We've only dropped down to 3rd place when this car is starting to kick in. I feel like when we're on the long run, we have a top 10, top 5 car here in Darlington. So everything's working out very nicely now, as we were now once again trying to find ways around Denny Hamlin. We weren't actually, you know, losing time to him. Here I am putting the fight to that Sports Clips, you know, throwback machine. And actually Hamlin gets into the wall there on the exit of turn 4, but that forward momentum kept him going in the right direction in front of me there. But we continue to try and find ways past Hamlin. It might come down to doing a bit of a slide job or a bump and run or something here, because I try to fight around the outside, actually sidetracked him quite heavily there. I even get into the side of him there. I could see the cars behind us continuing to close in on us, so I make a decision. It's time for the bump and run to the back of that number 11 of Denny Hamlin. There's the bump into turn 3. He slides up the track, doesn't even hit the wall, but I mean, an absolute perfect bump and run. That was textbook right there. We get through, we take the position. Hamlin only loses a couple of car lengths, and then he would actually lose a lot more than that though, because then Brad Keselowski was on an absolute charge. He passed Hamlin, he passed myself, so all of that, we go back down to P3 anyways. So we can see now lap 78 closing in towards the end of this race now. I'm just hoping it stays green as I say that. There goes Bubba Wallace crashing in the outside wall, and up and over he's going to go off of one of his best friends of Ryan Blaney. A big crash there for Bubba Wallace. The caution flies late in Darlington, and everybody's coming into the pit lane because we only have 5 laps of fuel left. We were about to pit, but I made a mistake. So everybody took 4 tires. I took 2. So now we are at a left side tire disadvantage here, and as we have made a potentially crucial mistake, we have the lead of the race, but we're not going to have it for long. We know that here. 12 laps to go here in this Southern 500, and the reason I took 2 tires is because we only needed 1 can of fuel to make it to the end of this race, so I thought it was only logical to take the amount of tires that you would need for the time that it would take to put 1 can of fuel in the race car. However, that's not what happened with everybody else. They decided they were going to take 4 tires, so we are the only one out here with 2 tires, and we are at a major disadvantage. And you can see already, here comes Christopher Bell, who's going to go around my outside. He picked up the win at the Indianapolis Road Course. That's how we got in the playoffs, actually at the expense of myself by door slamming me into a barrier, but we're not going to talk about that. He gets around us, and so does Brad Keselowski. I think it's a fight between those 2 drivers. They're the 2 fastest cars on the track, but we know the 2 car probably overall is the fastest one here. But you can see immediately I am losing ground with this tire disadvantage. Harvick able to get past us. I'm holding off Reddick and Hamlin the best I can, but it doesn't help when you send it into turn 3 a little bit too much, and you're going to get a Darlington stripe for I think the 3rd time today under onto the lights in Darlington. Hamlin passes us. Logano. Truex slams us into the wall. When did he become a rival again? We got rid of him as a rival, but apparently he is one again. So Bowman passes us as well. Tyler Reddick, we drop down into P9 in front of Christopher Bell, but thank goodness we would be able to settle in right here. We would be able to calm down and stay ahead as we would continue playing defense over Austin Dillon, over that number 17 of Busher. But like I said, we would be able to kind of settle in right here and hang on at this point and survive for a potential top 10 in these closing laps. Actually, we built a very comfortable gap by over a second between myself and 10th place. We have nothing for the cars in front of us, and we were just getting to the final lap at this point with now a lap and a half to go. Christopher Bell leading the way to the final lap, but he loses the lead to Brad Keselowski, actually, as the final lap kicks off into turn 1. Keselowski might clutch up here and take the win on the very final lap of this Southern 500 here as we start our final lap. And you know what, it could have been a top 5 today, but we made a pit mistake, but still I'm very happy with the top 10, so there was really no complaints at all. Brad Keselowski, though, through 3 and 4, no contest. Bell gave it his all, but it wasn't enough. Keselowski is going to win the first race of the playoffs, win the Southern 500. He will lock himself into that round of 12 as we're going to come through with a very, very strong day under the lights in Darlington. No stage points in stage 1, but we had a great stage 2 with some strategy help, as well as a great stage 3, and overall a P9 finish here in the Southern 500. We will take that, like I said, all day long here. Now as well, we did have a couple of playoff drivers have issues. You saw the main one, Bubba Wallace, but one that might have went a little bit unnoticed is the number 24 of William Byron. He actually DNF'd out of this race. You're going to see him all the way at the bottom of the order here, unfortunately for Byron. There he is, P38, 28 laps down. Newman and Suarez as well out. So 2 playoff drivers that DNF'd out of the race is absolutely beautiful for us, because we know we're going to be struggling to make it into this round of 12. It's going to be a very close fight, and there you see, because of their misfortune, currently we are 10 points above the cut line, and Elliott right now is actually out, and so was Kurt Busch, and then of course the obvious of Bubba Wallace and William Byron. Keselowski advances as we head to Richmond in the next episode. And if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. In the next one, we had short track racing. Not sure how I'm going to fare at Richmond earlier in the season. It was an interesting one, so we'll hope for the best. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.